We are the Hollywood Paranormal Detective.
That's right, it's Wednesday night, and you know where you're at, all of you. You're at HPD Live. Here we are, all day, all night. We know what you need. No, I'm not David Lee Roth, but welcome to HPD Live. We're here every week talking to you about ghosts, crazy stuff you see, crazy things that go bump in the night, and we always bring you the people of the paranormal you want to hear from. But first, let me bring up, you know what? I'm going to change it up a bit. Instead of the trusty steed, we're going first with the groundhog. Here's Mandy.
What? Oh my God.
You got brought up first.
I got to go first. I was like over here on my phone. And then
just to change it up.
Hold on.
We're getting wild. We're getting wild. Just didn't want you to feel left out. Welcome, Mandy. Loving the shirt. You better not take my milk money.
It's a dope shirt, and it's my mom's from when she was in high school. Do not hate on it. It is cool. Look.
That is dope.
Wait. See the little guy?
And you know who will also like that shirt?
Not Brian.
Brian Ray.
I don't know if I can deal with the level of disrespect of not being trusty. I'm afraid I'm out of here.
Oh no! I just thought I was trying to actually catch Mandy off guard.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
know. It's I caught me on. It was on my phone.
All right, guys. Tonight, you will not believe it. Fellow Paraflix investigators and people who, we have had, you get like Instagram relationships with people that you click like, they click like, you say cool, they say cool for a long time. And then you finally get to sit down, sort of, screen to screen, and chew the fat of the paranormal. Beyond the veil, here is Doug and Francis.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, hi.
Hello.
The music in your intro got me going, man.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys see me. I'm always jumping around and like kind of getting excited. And then I always forget I've got to talk right in. That is great. Welcome to HPD Live. How are you guys?
Doing great, man. Thank you for having us.
Yes. You guys are also on Paraflix. Tell me who was Beyond the Veil pre-Paraflix and who is Beyond the Veil now?
Well, before Paraflix, we were just on YouTube, because we started investigating after our own experiences. And so we investigated for a few years and we're like, you know what? We get a lot of really good evidence. Let's put it on YouTube and just see what people think. And that's just what we did, just kind of, we're on there for about 2 years.
2 or 3 years, we got really lucky, man. We got a lot of support right away.
Yeah.
We got in with some good people right away. We grew pretty quickly. And then once we met Natalie and were introduced to Paraflix, it was the rest is history.
Yeah. And now we've all made it. Now that's sort of your story. You guys weren't into investigating until you moved into a haunted house, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Tell me that
curious.
whole story, because Brian grew up with friends with haunted houses. Mandy's had some haunts of her own. Yes, tell us that whole tale.
Well, we originally lived in Arizona. We're from Tucson, Arizona, and we were getting ready to have a baby. We're like, let's move out of Arizona. Let's move somewhere else totally different. I had a friend who lived up here that went back and forth when we were kids between parents. And
we're in Northeast Ohio now. We're in the Cleveland area now.
Oh, okay.
Ohio, and so we asked them to look for a house for us to rent so we could move up here. And so they found us a house, and we were here about 2 months, and the former house, and the first thing that ever happened was the house had many crawl spaces. And there was one particular upstairs we could not open. He would pry it with a knife, screwdriver. I was like, they must have sealed it, so we just ignored it. Well, about 2 months later, we go upstairs. I had a standing jewelry box, and we went upstairs, and it had been moved forward. The door was wide open. And we're just like, we're like, oh, the seal just broke or wore out, whatever. It was freaky, but we didn't pay too much attention to it. But it just went from there.
That was crazy. Daddy's a big boy. I couldn't get that door open.
Yeah.
Wow.
The fact that it opened on its own was
Whatever
intense.
was on the other side was bigger.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, right.
voices, like the first voice I ever heard was a woman call out, and then it started mimicking our older son's voice. We'd be upstairs and I hear mom, and I'm like, what? And I hear mom, and I go over there and we're like, he's at school, he's not even here. Then it was shadows on the floor, and then one time I was leaning over the baby on the floor and I got hit in the back of the head, and I instinctively thought it was my dog, so I turned around really fast and he's like, what's the matter? And I was like, something just hit me in the back of the head, and I thought it was Kasha, but the dog wasn't there. And it just escalated to the point where the traumatic thing happened, where a baby was like removed from the bed. So it just escalated. Yeah, we had I used to nurse her, and I would wake up in the night and I'd find her hanging off our bed. And I would tell him, she's weird. She keeps getting to the edge of the bed somehow, and I don't understand. She's just a little newborn. And then, sorry, it's really hard, but and I woke up one night and she was gone. And I freaked out. I started screaming. I woke him up, and he didn't know what was going on. He's just running around the room, and I was just like, where is she? Where is she? And we actually found her around the wall with her feet at that crawl space. And so it was like, of course, I was hysterical, and I couldn't sleep for many, many weeks. And it just escalated from there. It was like, it would set things off in the house, because I'd always be upstairs, and it was almost like it constantly tried to get me out of the room. It would set off her toys in the playroom downstairs constantly, like she had toys that big voices would come out of. Like, we eventually had batteries removed out of everything in the house, because it would set off the smoke detectors, it would set off the carbon monoxide detectors, it would set off her toys. It was
oh my God.
horrible. It was horrible. And
those are just examples of like
that's
some of
just a
the
small
big
amount.
things that happen. That's not even getting into like the feelings of being watched in the shadows, darting across the room.
Yeah.
The banging on the walls you'd hear.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry that you guys had to go through that. That's tough, especially when your child is involved.
And I'm a parent, so I know what you're talking about. Like, they can't crawl. Like, so even if they fell off the bed, the baby's not going to crawl. If it doesn't know how to crawl yet, it can't move. That is...
Well, and it's weird, because when I would find her hanging, like when your feet just dangle off the edge, that's how I'd find her. Just throw her hang back on the bed, but her feet would be dangling. I'm like, that was so weird at my feet. Like, I keep finding her there until the one night. After that, I literally slept with my arms around her for months.
Oh my God.
I was so scared. And
yeah.
It was really, really bad.
How long ago was that?
I agree with this comment. Fuck that. That is crazy.
He's 9 now, so
okay.
We're talking almost 10 years ago now that all that.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my God. So two questions. What was the final straw that was like, we're gone, we're out of here? And then what's happening to the house now?
Well, the final straw was Frances actually started to get sick. It was affecting her to the point nightly where she was waking up coughing, not being able to breathe. And this just came on all of a sudden. It only happened when we were upstairs in our room. If we slept down in the living room, it didn't happen, or if we were spending time out, in other rooms, it didn't happen. It was only, it was a converted attic that was our bedroom. And eventually got to the point where she wasn't able to breathe at night. And so we just asked for a raise at work. We paid the lease on 2 different houses till it was over. Then we moved.
Wow. And is it still there?
We actually drove past it recently, because the first couple of years we'd go look at it every once in a while, because it's our curiosity.
Yeah.
And then we were actually talking about it with our daughter the other day. We're like, let's just go drive by so she can see it, because she knows some of the stories, because she's heard us talk about it. And it's still there. I've always been tempted to go knock on the door and ask people if they've had experiences, but I don't want people to be like, who are you? So
now, before
go ahead.
before this house, did you even watch like Ghost Hunters or anything, or at this house changed your lives?
Well, I had experiences a lot growing up. I've
Okay.
had in Tucson, I had a lot of things happen throughout my years when I was a teenager and stuff. But it just once for whatever reason, and I've told other people, I believe a lot of it revolved around our daughter. She had like this energy to her 100%. Because when she was walking in the house, she saw something on 2 occasions where once we had company over and she was in the hallway and she was just about a year and a half because she walked really young and she just keeps screaming, going, "Skid, skid," and she was pointing. So we all ran out there, and of course, there was nothing there. And then the other occasion was we were all together in the room and I stood up to go into my closet and she just grabbed a hold of my leg and started screaming and pointing over there, going, "Skid," and trying to pull me away. And I remember just being emotional because I could not see what she was seeing.
Yeah.
She was so terrified. And it was the bedroom and the basement of that house. So they were the 2 areas that
Have the most concentrated stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Doug, did it affect you, or was it mainly Francis?
Definitely my Francis and the baby got the brunt of it. I would see things. I'd be doing laundry and down in the basement, and I feel like I'm getting rushed up on. I put my dukes up, like, what was that?
Yeah.
But that feeling of being rushed up on something.
Yeah.
Steven knows that feeling.
I'd see the shadows darting across, but we just. I had a second/third shift job. I was working 60 hours a week trying to get us back on our feet after the big move. So a lot of it was focused on Francis and the baby for sure.
Wow. So here's a weird question. Would you ever go back and investigate that house?
I would. Because I have so many questions there's so many questions.
Like that's full circle for you in my vision,
Back then we weren't paranormal investigators. The thought of like buying a recorder and turning it on in our house didn't even occur to us.
Yeah.
Honestly, didn't.
And now you're fully armed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do. Go back and try to get some. If you can make yourself go back, that baby story, having kids, that's terrifying.
To this day,
it was traumatic. It was messed up, man.
Oh my
Holy
god!
shit.
My jaw's just dropped.
Yeah.
I'm almost blank.
And that's
it's really
wild.
it's really hard to talk about, but it helps me to talk about it also. So.
Of course.
But so now that you're paranormal investigators, it's become so much of your lives. Are you almost thankful something like that opened your eyes and opened your kind of environment to searching for more answers? So maybe it was a good thing.
Yeah, because we had activity actually continued in this house when we moved in, and a lot of it revolved around our daughter again. And so it's not bad, but we definitely have energy going on here. So that's kind of what once it started here, we're like, okay, we need to start looking into this more. And I kind of started working on my past, like maybe where it started with me. I still don't know, but we kind of just slowly started going out to different locations, and we just got hooked. We tried in our house. We won't do it again because we got things we didn't want to hear. So we started going out to other locations. And
Well, that's a good thought. So what made you go like, let's go try this? Was it was in the house at first, trying to get evidence, right?
Yeah. The first time I ever even tried a recording session, and we didn't own anything. It was just on the cell phone, and our son was with us, and we sat here asking questions, and we actually captured an EVP on the phone. It whispered, "Stop recording."
Yep.
Stop recording.
Yep, and we turned it around.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds good.
So we did do it again later, and it mentioned that likes the baby upstairs, and that's what made me stop doing it. That freaked me out. So
Oh my god.
So I was like, it wasn't like scary, but it was just unnerving that it mentioned the baby again.
Yeah.
I was 2 by then, but I was just like, I didn't feel comfortable doing it anymore after that.
Mandy, what do you think? Do you think a budding medium could cause activity?
Oh yeah. especially young children who are susceptible and open, they will attract just about anything into a home. I'm curious to ask if you remember seeing this entity in your previous home. Did it appear at times as like almost like a wispy mist, kind of skirting along the ground?
We used to see it. It looked like black shadows moving across the floor, and we did have occasions where we'd wake up in the night and we'd see the energy in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
I remember waking up and trying to grab at it because it was just right in front of me, and I'd wake up thinking I was dreaming, and then I would realize, oh my God, this is like,
Yeah.
it's just
Okay. Interesting.
really weird.
Yeah, that's a really heavy energy to deal with. Because I can just feel it. You guys talking about, I can feel it. I even drew something, but it just is very like.
If you're comfortable, show us.
Well, I don't know if you guys are comfortable. Like, I don't know if you guys want to rehash this. We don't have to at all.
Well, no, it's interesting too, because one of the things that I haven't mentioned yet was, I want to say, what was it, 2 or 3 months before we moved out, it actually did manifest itself, and we were able to see it in the form of like the markings in the grain of a door. I don't know if that makes any sense. You can see this door right here. You see the mark, like
Yeah.
markings. It showed itself to us in the door. It's the strangest thing. I do have a picture of it. We'll send it to you afterwards. But we ended up seeing what it looked like, and it was pretty messed up. It had a couple horns. It had
Had wings.
You could see wings, you could see its thin rib cage.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't there and it was not there till right before we moved out, because I was standing there and I had to happen to open the door, and he's like, "What the F?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" He's like, "Get over here!" And he turned me around, and it was right there on the door. And I was like, "Oh my God!" And we called our oldest son up, and he looked up and he's like, and he took off running. And we covered that door the last 2 months. I was like, covered up. I didn't use that door.
Well, yeah, that's terrifying.
So it was almost in the grain, and you never noticed it before.
It wasn't there, because when I'll show the picture after the show, it's 100% clear what you are seeing. You can see the wings.
It almost manifested itself from the grain. Oh my God. What would Ray Stantz call that? Like,
Yeah, I've never heard of anything like that. Never seen it
It was
before or since. I've never even heard of that before.
Past life,
full wood visualization. What, Brian?
the past life experience intruding on modern time.
That's probably could be.
Wow.
This house is so amazing, but on top of that, you guys have been places like Bobby Mackey's and stuff. So, like, have you ever found anywhere that you think's as active as that house was?
We've been to active locations, but nothing will ever compare. And because of what we went through at that house, I have yet to feel as scared as I did in that place.
Well, that was personal, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen it before. I don't go into places saying, "Whoa, I'm a tough guy. I'm not going to get scared. You don't scare me." I go into a place being as open as I possibly can, being as susceptible as I can to feeling anything. So that's just me saying that I have not been scared, close to how scared I was in that place.
Wow, that's such an unbelievable, amazing, awesome, scary story. That's so great. Not great, sorry. But that's the kind of stuff that you hear about, and people go, ghosts aren't real, and then someone tells you a story like that they fell into.
Mhm.
Someone who just told you ghosts aren't real will tell you a story like that. That's
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, totally true.
Well, ghosts are real, but this one time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm floored by the baby thing. That is so crazy.
And what's sad is, for many years, like even on YouTube, no one knew our story. No one knew why we did what we did. Because it's like, how do you go and share something like that? It was because of Natalie and stuff. It was the first time we ever actually were able to stay outside our family. Our family knew what had happened to us, but we never were able to have the opportunity to tell people, because people go through that stuff, and who do you talk to about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie from Fairfield was the first person we ever opened up to about that. And she actually got emotional, and it was a very, very intense thing that we had with her. And it opened the door for us to really start being more open with what happened to us.
So were y'all clients of hers?
No.
No, it was
Okay.
when we first met for when we interviewed to be on Paraflix.
Okay.
And then we met with her again afterwards. It was a little bit less interviewee and more conversation-y.
That's you
Well,
can't
it's
get
very healing
Yeah.
to share your experiences and to keep talking about it, and it gives you almost your power back in a sense over what happened. So I can see how it was an emotional experience to talk with Natalie about everything and have someone understand.
That's amazing.
That's wild.
So you'll probably never find anything as haunted as something that home hauntings they don't hide anymore. They've waited. You're not leaving. Now it's like they're investigating you. Like they're seeing what makes you tick, what makes you jump, how can they get you to react. And the second you try to show someone else, they're quiet. Wow.
And the same is true in public locations as well. We've like Prospect Place, for instance, jumping topics a little bit here. We've investigated there numerous times, gotten tons and tons of evidence. And then we were still on YouTube. We're like, yeah, we're cool now. We're going to do a live investigation on YouTube. And then they did the goddamn thing.
Nope. They knew what we were doing. They're like, nope.
That's always how it happens.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Or when you bring a first timer that doubts, like nothing is making sound for like hours and hours. So what are some locations you haven't been? What's on your bucket list of locations you'd like to visit?
Well, this coming year, we're hoping to make it to the Monroe House. We want to make it to Old Hospital on College Hill.
Oh, cool.
We want to go to
Indiana State Sanitarium.
we want to go out there.
That's a relatively new one. They just opened
That one just came up.
I haven't heard of that one.
The guys who own Madison Seminary up here, they purchased and are renovating that and opening that up for the public. So hoping to get
That's
to that
really
one
cool.
We just want to go everywhere.
I know.
That location would be cool because it's like untouched,
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Like it's waiting for people to come explore it.
That's what was cool. We did Fairfield County Infirmary, actually. That was owned by the same people. I know Destination Fear, those guys on Travel Channel, they went there, and I think once they opened up to the public after that, we were the first team to ever spend the night and investigate there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Destination Fear is always bringing to light these new places.
Yep.
I really like them.
Well, and I've said it all the time. Every time you go somewhere local and talk to someone local knows about, Pinewood Bluff that no one's heard of, but everybody in town knows is the most haunted place in the whole town,
It's true.
Well, let's go, Stephen.
I know. Let's go to Pinewood Bluff. I was just making it up. But it's amazing. Do you guys seem to want to do more home investigations because of your personal experience, or how does that work? Do you want to do more like locations, or do you want to try to help people out?
Oh yeah, well, I'm definitely open to it. We haven't been asked to investigate anyone's home. We haven't really had the opportunity. But if someone in the area asked us to come by and see what we could find, we would. I wouldn't be presumptuous to say that we could help, but I would definitely, if someone wanted some answers, I could pull out my recorder and try that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like you guys are prepared more than anybody. You've lived an unbelievable tale of terror.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite positive experience or interaction with a spirit, like one that stands out to you that was like, wow, that was so cool, rather than the opposite of what you guys have experienced?
Well, for me, there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
When I'm out there investigating, I view any bit of evidence we're lucky enough to catch as a positive experience. Like you guys know, when you pull out your recorder, you ask a question and hear it, you hear them answering your question. This gives me the chills. It's impossible to pinpoint one, because for me they're all positive. I get such a kick out of it. I love it.
Cool.
I get too excited. Brian has to calm me down.
It's my primary job is just to make sure Steven doesn't go through the ceiling.
I'll just start going, woo, you hear that? And he's like, okay. Like, stop.
Okay, stop. There might be more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's shift to the tech a little bit. What are some devices that you feel are your trusty right-hand equipment?
We're very basic. We use our digital recorders, our infrared camera, and a spirit box. And it's like, because we always go in by feeling first, walk locations, and then we go back and we'll walk the whole location. We'll go talk to them, introduce ourselves, let them know we're coming to interact with them. And then we go back with just a recorder and our camera and the spirit box. We have a REM pod. We tried a couple times, but it hasn't really done anything. But the digital recorder is by far my favorite.
I'm just now falling in love with my digital recorder.
EVP.
I guess I've been impatient for years.
Great EVPs at the prison.
We're finally getting them. I guess I've been too impatient for digital recorders. That's why I've been so spirit box for so long. Mandy, you've always got EVPs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
There is something special about the spirit box, though. A
Yeah.
really good spirit box voice that you can hear what it's saying, and it's
yeah.
the right answer to your question. That's also exhilarating.
Yes. You get them that are. Go ahead.
It's real time, It's
Yeah.
Gotten some disembodied voices during spirit box sessions that didn't be coming from the spirit box, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
that's helping us as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, I always just a photo of a REM pod's lights on should be impossible, right? Like that photo shouldn't exist. Nothing should invisibly break that little field and make that go off. So
Yeah.
why shouldn't we freak out?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And when they go off, basically on command, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
When you request, it happens immediately.
Super exciting.
We haven't had too much luck with the REM pod yet, but we keep trying each time, and one day we'll get it.
I feel like only time we've had big success with it are locations that don't seem to get a lot of radio signal. So it's like in the USS Hornet, where we got no spirit box voice the whole night because it's this metal ship. I don't think they could use the spirit box because there was no signal to manipulate. Once they discovered our REM meter, they answered questions in 2 different locations.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and on the Hornet, we actually had a REM pod answering questions for each of us with a different colored light.
Yes.
And they are not made to do that at all.
No.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It never happens.
That's awesome.
So talking about sort of the Destination Fear guys, like who are some investigators that you've watched their style and you've watched the way they investigate that have maybe even inspired you, or even like I always say, the Ghostbusters Ray Stantz inspires me, but like anybody that could inspire you. Who are some of your inspirations?
I mean, aside from the Hollywood paranormal detectives, because they're my number one.
Well, I'm glad somebody.
Steven's done. He's done.
Somebody's
He's
done
so
this.
excited.
I want to be like Steve when I grow up.
Oh, thank you. Pray hands.
Amazing.
Well, we've watched all the shows like everybody else.
I think though, hands down, it's got to be Ed and Lorraine Warren
Oh.
are by far the most people that we look up to as paranormal investigators and educated people in the field.
I always said that would be the two people if I ever had the chance to sit down with just for 10 minutes, you know,
Yeah, like a dinner with them.
just ask them questions. Just
Maybe
Even before the movies, which were always awesome. I love all those movies about those characters, but the real people and the stories behind what they did and what they accomplished is just unbelievable.
Well, and the sad part is you feel like they reached notoriety after Ed's passing.
Yeah.
right.
Real-
And then these movies come along and just turn them into the biggest badasses in the world. And everyone wants to meet him even more. And then she passes. So it's like we lost him way too soon for them to have paved the way for all of us.
It's true. It's one thing that's cool though is that their son-in-law, Tony Sparrow, I think, he does a thing once a year where he opens up their museum over in Connecticut, and you can still walk through and see some of the collection that they had.
Oh, I want to see that. So
Yeah,
bad.
we're gonna try and make it this coming year. We'll see.
I heard he'll also open it if you call the right and knock on the door. If you're the right attitude, I've heard he's let people in.
That's
Because every once in a while you see an Instagram from someone like, I'm with Annabelle, like,
yeah.
and it's not tour time.
I would think randomly showing up wouldn't be the right attitude.
No.
Let's try it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Annabelle, are you home?
Yeah.
Let's play a fun game. Francis, describe Doug's investigation style.
Ooh.
He just definitely has a easygoing attitude. He, like he said, he doesn't. I definitely get a little bit more jittery than he does because I'm definitely way more sensitive to it. But he definitely, because he's like my backbone at these locations. He's like I feel very safe with him. So he goes in there as like strong and just easygoing and
Dashingly handsome.
he's real comfortable. He just goes in there just really easygoing and goes with the flow and whereas I'm in there going, I can just I can feel it in here. We got to go in this room right now and come talk there right now and stuff like that. So.
Well, Doug, how would you describe Francis? Her investigation style.
Well, she's the one who feels it. She's the one who really wears her heart on her sleeve when we're there and soaks up every single thing. I'm the guy with the level head holding the camera saying, hey, we should go over here, we should go over there. But let me just give you an example. When we go to some of these places and we'll do the tour ahead of time, it's not like a public thing. We always pay for a private investigation. So it's just us and the owners or the volunteers, and we'll walk through and they'll say, oh, well, over here is where they get the EVPs and over there is where they get the apparitions. And, upstairs is where you'll smell the perfume. We don't go by any of that.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I go by her. We walk in and she's got the little radar on. And, okay, we're going there. And that's where we go.
She's sensitive. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can feel that from you for sure.
Now, Francis, have you had any guidance with any abilities, or is this just something that's sort of slowly built through your time?
Yeah, like I said, I had experiences when I was younger, but definitely we started investigating, especially at the house and then this house when stuff started happening here. It really got strong when we started going out to locations. It I could feel when someone walks up behind me at these locations. You'll see me on camera, turn around looking, and then we'll play back the footage. You'll hear them talking to me through EVPs, and it's my senses have definitely gotten way stronger since we've done this.
You guys have a good, when I watch your videos on Paraflix, please subscribe. You have a good pace. You cover a lot of ground and you don't rush, and you're pretty thorough. And it's, I definitely watch your shows and I feel I'm there with you.
Appreciate that.
I enjoy them. Um,
Well, it's good too because it feels like you guys bounce each other out.
what,
while we're all
Brian?
talking.
Very good chemistry. They should get married.
What was that, Mandy?
Oh, I was just gonna say, from watching, it's like you guys really balance each other out throughout the
It's like-
night and investigation.
You almost watch and get the sense they know where each other is in the dark.
Mhm.
Is that the right grammar? They know where each other is.
They don't know. I know where you are, baby.
I know where you are, baby. You're over there in the dark. I'm over here at EVP. Woo! Tennessee Ray Chasers.
Yeah, 'cause I can see by the little light, because we investigate complete darkness. We use no lighting at all. So I just go by the little glow on his face, and that's how I know where he is.
Now, have y'all ever worked with any other teams yet? Or
Yes.
No, we had a friend who was another YouTuber who was investigating up at Madison Seminary, and he asked us to come along. That was the first time we've ever collabed with somebody else, but it really wasn't like that serious of a thing. So we've never really done a serious investigation with another team or with another person. It's always just been the two of us.
that's kind of how, like, me and Brian, and before we had Boom, and now we've got Mandy. But we've always been kind of an island of our own, doing our own editing, doing our own, reviewing, and assuming we're doing it all right. Only through Paraflix we've started, in this talk show, I've started getting everybody and talking to them and trying to plan ways to work together. But it's also scary working with new teams because you have different patterns and cadences that you follow.
Yep.
But now, since you're starting, Francis, you're getting more sensitive. Like Mandy did before. Mandy, you had guides and you had people you worked with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe through Paraflix you could work with Patty or Mandy or Natalie to help. What would you say if you were in her shoes, Mandy? Like, what would your next step be to help hone your abilities?
Well, the question is, does she want to?
Oh, I think she does.
Well, some people don't. That's fine.
And one of the reasons it's important for me is because my daughter is sensitive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When we weren't home one time, with my oldest son was babysitting her, and she saw a woman running up the stairs, and she opened up to me a couple weeks later, very emotional for what she had seen.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's like, I want to learn more so I can help her.
Yeah.
She sees it, she feels it, and I'm like her place to go to. She knows she can talk to me. I believe her. But it's like I'm still trying to understand why I have it to help her with why she does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's in the lineage, I mean, it's been passed on to you, and you're passing it on to her, right? I always say the best thing that you can do is just look up classes. I mean, and there's classes everywhere, right? But like for starters, Patty Negri, she offers classes, right? So she's a good person just to kind of get a baseline, like a beginner's class, and just kind of see where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. Because, you may be really good at seeing things and feeling things, but maybe not so good at hearing spirit. Does that make sense? So taking classes, and then this is kind of like my thing that I like to do, but I like to go to cemeteries. And it's weird. I like to go to cemeteries, and I like to go to like each grave and like just test and feel what I'm getting. And I don't know, that was something that helped me a lot. Just kind of like, I feel like this person died of this. I feel like this person died of this. But just stuff like that, just like putting yourself out there at these places and seeing what you can pick up on naturally. And how does it come to you? So beginner stuff like that. But classes are always a good way to start. And there's so many good people out there that teach classes, like Cindy Keza from Holzer Files, Travel Channel, Discovery. Like, she's phenomenal, and Patty Negri and all that. So, and just finding other people who are like you too, who are sensitive, that you can work with, helps a lot too. So
just be careful, because some of us are batshit crazy.
that is very true, Brian. That is very true.
Well, here's another question. Does your son have any sensitivity to the paranormal?
No.
None whatsoever.
He's as he tells us, he's experienced things, but he just doesn't want to know. You know, he's afraid of it, but it's definitely our daughter.
And Doug, you wouldn't consider yourself sensitive, or
No, I mean ticklish, but not really sensitive.
Is there a reason you think maybe females tend to be more of the sensitive, and the male medium is more rare?
The male, I mean, if you take a look at our society, right, like men from an early age are taught, at least previously, maybe now things are changing, but back in the day, men were taught that they can't be emotional and they have to be strong. And so a lot of times that it almost internally shuts them down, which can close down their senses and abilities if they do have them.
So you're saying in their youth, when that, boys will be boys mentality starts getting put in their heads, they already start thinking physically, less mentally, and closing it off.
Yep.
Wow.
We were also taught to burn the witches.
That's true.
And see, and women are, we're supposed to be emotional, and that's just who we are. And so it's just different. And that's why I think that you don't see a lot of male mediums. And the ones who are male mediums who have made it, it was a really long journey of like them closing down and then opening back up. And so it's a lot harder.
But I still cry every investigation, so I don't know why I wouldn't see more. What do we got? What are we thinking? What's the future hold for Beyond the Veil? More Paraflix? More try to collab?
Yeah, well, who knows what the future will hold? Definitely, the immediate future is getting the next season out on Fairfield. We've been working hard on some videos of the investigations that we did last year. So we're going to be releasing those, one after the other, coming up here soon. And right now it's just planning investigations and seeing where the world takes us.
Excellent. And the house you're living in, would you say activity is escalating?
We go through periods where it's a little bit more, but lately it's pretty. It's always here, but it's nothing you can't live with after the other house. So nothing negative.
So you definitely diluted it by leaving that house.
Oh yeah.
There's little things that happen here and there in this place that you can't explain, but nothing you can't live with and nothing to be scared of.
Well, being from LA and hearing movie scripts sometimes, if I were you two, I would sit down together and write out everything you remember now while it's as fresh as it can be. He
tells me to do it all the time.
Y'all do it together and then tell the tale in a video or something, but get it out there because that's an amazing story, and that y'all found a new direction in your lives from it and have got through it. And who knows, someone might want to pay you to make that film. That for your baby to be drugged down the hall and into the doorway that couldn't open. I didn't even ask what was on the other side of the door once it opened.
You're not going to believe it, man. Absolutely nothing.
There's a giant open room with like little boards that we weren't about to step on.
Yeah, we're from Arizona. Crawl spaces, what the fuck is a crawl space?
That's where the scorpions and tarantulas hide.
I don't need to see a king snake. I don't think so.
It was just big, and I looked in there. I'm like, shut it and seal it. I had him nail it shut. I didn't want to look in there or nothing.
Yeah.
So it was a big space.
Big, wide open space filled with absolutely nothing but dust, fiberglass insulation.
Yeah.
Wow. But, gosh, I want to go through that door and see how far it goes, but I don't, because I'd probably cry and I'd be scared. And we've talked about it, and it's a fun question to ask. Do you get scared on investigations, or is your skin too thick now because of that house?
I've had moments where at one investigation where we were investigating Prospect Place Mansion, and it's a place we've been many times, and we went one time, and it was just, the energy was different, and I kept telling them, there's something not right here today. I happened to be in the girls' room, and all of a sudden I got this nasty voice come at me. And all of a sudden, have you ever been in a location where you can just feel the darkness come over, like a shadow? That happened to me, and I'm getting the goosebumps talking about. I froze, and I told him, I was like, some people don't want me here. He doesn't want me here. And he's like, okay, let's just move out of the room. And everywhere I went, it was following me to the point where I was filming him, and I backed myself in a corner. And he's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, it doesn't want me here. It doesn't want me here. And it was like so intense. We ended up leaving. That's the only time ever we have left a location before. And I was pretty unsettled for like a couple of investigations after. I was really jumpy, and it was really weird. And I had to go back though. We went back again.
Good.
I had to go conquer it because I don't know what it was. It's never happened since, but that's the one time I've ever gotten really scared.
I've definitely had where like you look over here and it's pitch black. You look over here and it's normal. You look back and you can see, and you're like, "What the fuck?" It was,
Yeah.
it was black a second ago, and now I can see just fine.
That kept happening in Nevada.
Or even in a location. We were at Hillview Manor one time in the one north hallway. It was pitch black to the left, pitch black to the right, and then all of a sudden it got more pitch black somehow.
We're like, oh my god.
I don't know if that's ever happened to you, where you're in a dark hallway and then all of a sudden it is more dark.
Brian, tell them what you were saying.
In Nevada State Prison, and I'm hoping it's reflected in the footage, but there were times when I would aim my IR camera down the row of cells, and in the same hallway, only be able to see 2 or 3 cells down, and it would just fall to complete blackness. And then a few minutes later, I'd do the same thing, and I'd see all the way to the end.
Wow.
Like, well, how does that work?
How the heck did that happen?
Wow.
Yep, I know exactly.
Nevada State Prison was black. We were surrounded. It was like a video game that our controller, we hadn't unlocked past a certain distance. It was just pitch black in our own little circle. There's some footage that is really scary, just visually, where I'm really far down a hall and you're filming me, but from me to you is nothing. It's not the reflection of the hallway. It's just black, and I'm just this dot down here, and I'm just like very scared for myself watching it, how I was in the pudding or in the muck.
So it was so weird.
Yeah.
And there's something special about prisons too.
Yeah.
There's something special about prisons.
Doug, what is your most intense experience you've had?
I've had 2. What I would say that I was freaked out.
Let's hear them both. Get them both out.
Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. I think
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we were. I think it was the orphans ward. No, it wasn't. It was the ward where they held the criminally insane. I think it was on the 3rd floor. I can't remember. All the wards have names. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a room. They were all dormitories except this dormitory style rooms, except for this one that had a cave in it. Like we're almost like where they would put the kid that was misbehaving or put the guy who couldn't control himself. And I turned the spirit box on and I went in there and I shut the door behind me. And she was filming me from outside the cage. And I wasn't getting very many voices on the spirit box, but I could see in my mind's eye, I could see, a real dirty, scraggly, long-haired, bearded fella standing over me, just kind of pointing his finger and, really being aggressive towards me.
Yeah.
It's funny because I wasn't catching any audio. It was just what I could see in my mind and what I could feel.
And I thought you weren't sensitive.
Yeah. That was the one time where my mind's eye actually saw something, and it was pretty freaky.
Yeah. And you said there was another. What's the other one?
Yeah, Post-Town Elementary, southwestern Ohio. This one wasn't like really scary. It was a matter of we hadn't been catching a lot of disembodied things. We've been catching stuff on the spirit box and EVPs, of course. But at one point we were hearing banging on the walls over here, the door handles jiggling over here, and disembodied voices, and it was all happening all around us at once. And right then I looked at her and I'm like, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. He did. He got creeped out.
I was creeped out.
And it just also, we were like filming, and all of a sudden the door handle, it just started jiggling. I'm like, oh my God, it's jiggling. And then you could hear a voice calling, and he was like, oh my God, I'm a little creeped out right now. It was really creepy.
When a quiet house that's empty gets loud, that's a difficult, difficult moment.
Creepy.
and it's what we're looking for, and then we all tend to kind of run for the hills for it.
Got it, and we got it all on video. It was fantastic.
Like when I see something, I always yell, "I didn't want to see that,"
Yeah.
or something like that.
But you did.
Oh my god, I hate it.
We also run towards stuff that a lot of people would run away from. So
Yes, we chase cowboys when we have to, don't we?
Oh my god.
Now you're into ghosts. Let's just expand. Do you ever think about investigating aliens or Sasquatch, or are you interested in kind of all the aspects of the paranormal world, or just like ghosts? Do you have any other experiences in your
I've
lives?
always been into aliens.
I've always been fascinated by aliens. You know, I would think that'd be so much fun.
Have you ever seen a light in the night sky or anything?
No, but I lived in Arizona when in Tucson, when the Phoenix lights happened. I remember the next morning, my mom called me going, "Did you see the news?" And I saw the footage and everything, but unfortunately, I didn't get to see it as it happened.
Oh,
But I was living there when it happened. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
I wouldn't be afraid. I'm not afraid of like the whole. I think it's fascinating. Because I 100% believe there's other life out there. So if talking to a ghost is possible, it's possible that there's aliens out there.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I wish there was a way to investigate for aliens easier.
Yeah.
I know that's hard to say. What, Brian?
I said all I have to do is go to bed sometimes.
Brian has some abductee stories that are very intense.
Wow.
And like you told Earl, Brian, we'll check in on you right now. Is anything escalated or?
It's been that one recent incident, I guess recent, within the last year, and it had been dead for 20 years before that. But others that are involved also had the activity pick up at the same time. So,
Oh my!
That's crazy, man.
I guess all I ever think of is sky watching in the right spot. But then what devices? You just take a camera and just film the sky?
The most intense binoculars.
A laser.
Laser? Mandy says laser. Well, Mandy, you are an alien, correct?
I am an alien, so let me tell you how to talk to my people. It's hard because aliens are telepathic, so it's hard to capture that,
Yeah. You would think maybe they could learn to use a spirit box too, like
they
go
can't,
out on the right
but, like,
mountain.
why would they?
Yeah.
Oh, Brian,
how do you know you're not talking to aliens on the spirit box?
Very true. Very
he's
true.
right.
I saw them at Nevada State Prison. Who knows?
That's true.
I've gotten sounds on our spirit box that didn't, that I couldn't.
Weird
did not
noise.
sound earthly.
Yeah, he said that before. Yep. I remember that.
See, now we're going down other avenues. What do we got here? Questions, guys. Keep them going. Keep them rolling.
Well, now I'm just like, I want to go do a night watch.
Skywatch.
Alien hunting, man.
And what about Lake Erie, where a lot of UFO sightings have happened?
Oh yeah.
20 minutes away from it.
Oh, and that's happening currently. A lot of are picking up around Lake Erie.
Yeah.
What is supposed to be in Lake Erie?
It was crazy.
What, Brian?
As I'm from Michigan, and it was crazy, the activity growing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Lake Erie, for some reason, has always been a hot spot for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't explain it.
can't explain it. Well,
Well, what are your all's bucket list locations? All-time
Oh.
bucket list. You can go anywhere in the world.
I'll go last. Mandy, go. Boom.
No.
Okay, I'll go first. The White House, Graceland, boom. Disneyland, boom. Right there.
Oh my God, I have no
The
idea.
White House is like, I have like 15 books on the White House. It's the oldest building in the nation, not the continent, but part of the nation. Every president, think of how important you have to be and credible you have to be the president, and they all have experiences that are logged.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
better paranormal investigation than being president and writing your name in this book in this house. So that house, I need to be president so I can investigate the White House.
Yeah. That, if you're a president and you pass on and your spirit's wandering around, where am I gonna hang out for eternity? Going to the goddamn White House.
Exactly. But like, you think about it, like if every single president of Obama recently had the big thing where he talked about the violin music that would come from a fireplace in the main bedroom they would stay in, that it got comforting with time. They would ask it to stop. The Bush's daughters talked about seeing this lady all the time. Almost every president has a story. So the White House, it's sitting right there. It is super haunted. And then Graceland, to go talk to Elvis, see if we can get him to sing. All right, now, Mandy, you had time to thought while I ranted. Go.
Well, since we're on the president theme right now, first off, today is Ulysses S. Grant's birthday. So I had to throw that one in there. I'm a huge Civil War enthusiast, so that's why.
She is the number one Civil War enthusiast.
I'm a weirdo, okay? So I mean, obviously all like the big major paranormal locations, but if I could do one that's not like a paranormal location, but to investigate would be Abraham Lincoln's home in Springfield, Illinois. I want to investigate the home and just see if I can even capture a glimpse of his remnants, his soul left behind. That's where I would go.
Tell you what, last year we went to the museum in Springfield. They have a gigantic Abraham Lincoln museum there.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It's so cool, right?
Yeah.
I've never met anyone who's actually gone other than me.
We investigated Ashmore Estates, and we took our kids. So when we travel investigating, we take the kids with us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they got to see it. It's amazing. Oh my gosh.
It's really, they pulled out all the stops for that museum.
It is incredible.
Did you visit the tomb?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw his tomb too?
Yeah,
Okay.
we went down and
Yeah, you can't not.
Yeah, it was
Been
COVID.
to-
We had to wear our mask, which was stupid, but yeah.
Yeah. Like there's no one in there. It's like, okay.
Yeah, we saw the tomb. It was intense. It was very, very, very fun.
That's cool.
Now I'm the only parent on the HPD staff. Do you guys get concerned as parents investigating? Like my wife is like, you better not turn a device on in this house, and you better not bring anything home, or you're done. Like,
well, we've actually taken our daughter because we investigated Penhurst Asylum or Penhurst State School, and we took them. And whenever we travel, we do private tours beforehand, and we bring them with us so they can see the building. Because we want them to have a part of what we do.
That's really
Well,
cool.
our daughter has been in Penhurst, she's been in Trans-Allegheny, she's been in Ashmore, and she can sense the rooms that there's activity, and she loves it. She loves it. We don't, and like we did Ashmore over the summer, like you can let them investigate with you all night, and I did not feel comfortable with that. But we do have footage of our daughter. I was like, because our posters that you've seen, that's our daughter. And so that was at Ashmore State. So we let her do an EVP session, and she caught EVP, which we're going to release when we release that video. But we had them in there for maybe an hour, and then we took them to the hotel, and then we come back and investigate. I'm not quite comfortable her being in there that long because I can tell she's
Feeling it.
So,
Yeah.
How
I'm
old-
curious. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mandy.
Oh, I was just curious because Ashmore Estates, when I was there was a lot of children, like a lot of child spirits hanging around. Did she connect with any of that, or was it all like just?
yeah.
There was a room on the second floor, right up off to the left of the stairs there, where I can't remember the story right now. I got to go back over my notes, but it was two twin girls. I don't know if they passed there or if they spirits are there for some reason or another. But no, without even being told what room, our daughter gravitated to the room. That's what the tour guide said. And that's where we sat down and she did a little EVP session.
That's really cool. I'm so happy that you guys are like allowing her to grow her gift and like letting your children experience that. That's really, really cool.
And we did have a pebble thrown at us. So I don't think, by the feeling, I don't think it was anything malicious or something trying to hurt us.
No.
Just to
their attention.
Just to touch on what we were talking about, it did almost feel, childlike when you're tossing rocks around.
Playful.
So
love
just
that.
how old is your daughter now?
She's 9.
Yeah, when I was 9, 10-ish, I had a cassette audio recorder, just the tabletop one, like every household had back in the day, and I would take that to the cemetery and just do EVP sessions on my own when I was a kid. And I think it's cool that you guys are supervising that rather than just rather than being like me, where I'm a 9-year-old kid all by myself in the cemetery.
So what do you think, guys? Should we bring Ben along? He's 6. My 6-year-old son.
I say pick a location that you've been to before, and that for the first time, anyways, and bring him on the day tour with you, and see how he reacts to that. And then
He already says he wants to do it, but I tell him when you're 16, I'll take you anywhere you want to go. Until then, that was sort of my rule, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've seen a lot.
But I like the idea of the day tour because it's allowing them to at least get that historical knowledge and understanding of life and architecture and all that
I know
shit.
Matt Warner and his daughter investigate together.
Yeah.
And I think
It was
she's
fun.
14.
We did Randolph County a couple of years ago, and our daughter's 9, our son is 23. So it's a big age. We went to Randolph County a few years ago. We're sitting in there, we're getting ready to do the tour with them before we investigate. We were sitting there, and you hear a woman scream down the hallway. Now, mind you, it was just us there, and my son just looked at me, and I was like, and his eyes were like this. I was like, "You heard that?" He's all. And it's funny because he gets scared more than our daughter does. But it was like scream. And it was to see. So it doesn't matter how old you are, because you know what I mean. But our daughter was just like, whereas his eyes were like this.
Maybe we males get more scared because we're like, I can't physically do anything against that too. So it's like. Because I always, if I'm in this locked room, there's the doors closed. I'm physically safe. Why am I terrified? That's what I tell myself. Why am I so scared? There's no one in this building. What am I scared of? Keep walking. I'm just always scared. Brian, you didn't say your bucket list. Where's your bucket list place? You might have said it a long time ago, but what is it now?
Well, you know me. Any haunted lighthouse. And Lep Castle. Those are my.
That would be fun.
That'd be super cool. I've never done a lighthouse before. That'd be really
There's
cool.
Ohio.
I'd settle for a castle, any castle, but I want a real European castle. Not a. That's
I'd settle for a castle, but
Brian, we need to get you a European lighthouse. Is what we need.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
that would be interesting.
That would be cool. I also want to do Loftus Hall in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
That's where all the history is, man. That's where all the history is.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw. Go ahead. Sorry, we're all in and out.
So there's supposed to be a program that puts all of our tones at the exact same tone in our earphones. And if you're all at the exact same tone, you don't speak over each other. It's just something you do. But that's something more expensive than I have.
Now you're just asking for
and
so
I'd
much.
speak over anyway.
I don't know what he said. I couldn't hear you, Brian.
I said I'd speak over anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, I honestly didn't know too much about Loftus Hall which is crazy because I've been to Ireland, but until I saw Destination Fears episode of it. Sorry, I love that group. I somehow bring them up in every freaking podcast. But they did Loftus Hall, and that episode was insane. Oh my God. I can't even imagine going there now.
Was that the one where they locked Tanner in there and kept him in that room
all night, and he kept hearing the banging on the door? Oh my God.
It has such crazy stories with it.
Yeah.
And every bit of evidence I've ever seen from there is very different.
Yeah.
And it was for sale a few years ago. They were trying to sell it for $12 million or something.
Oh, that's all. I should have bought
No
it.
price of 12 mil. No
Yeah,
problem.
but I'll have 2 or 3 Loftus Halls, please. And even like Ghost Adventures, that's the only location they like went dark, and I think Zach just screamed. And had him turn the lights back on, and he was like, I don't know, like the second I was dark in this building, I fucking screamed.
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
Well, we have reached our hour. We have gotten some amazing stories from you. I'll call it your comic book origin story of your house is amazing. Write that down before you forget. Sit together, compare notes. Maybe even you each write it down, read each other's, and be like, oh, I never knew that happened. I never knew this detail. And it might fill in some gaps for you. And then
so much.
Make that a special of you two just telling your tale. That's such an amazing tale. And thank you so much for sharing it with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us on, you guys. This was great.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you.
And we hope to have you back. And if we ever make it out towards you, we got to collab. We got to do it.
That would be cool.
All right. Well, good night, you guys. Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh.
Good.
Love them. They're so nice.
HPD universe, whoever's watching, what an amazing story. What an amazing couple. Unbelievable. And the fact that that hit right here on HPD Live. If you're watching this right now, that means I don't know why I paused.
What does it mean?
That means this show is brought to you because of our Patreon. We have our Patreon that pays for us, that pays for us to do this, pays for this program, pays for all this. Thank you so much, Patreon subscribers. If you would like to join our Patreon, follow the link tree in our bio. Just $1 a month can take this from our favorite hobby and your favorite show to a full-time life and career. If you haven't, for all of us, if you haven't already, follow that link tree and head over to Paraflix. Use promo code HPD10 on checkout for 10% off. And watch season 4, episode 1, featuring Mandy Maisie and Brian and our friend Emily Kirkpatrick. The Kia Mill is an amazing episode, and I think we broke it. We got absolute evidence of every myth of the Kia Mill. If you like, I'm not wearing our dope gear, but our HPD gear is available on our Teespring. Follow that link tree to that Teespring if you want to look as fresh as Grandmaster Steve here. Like, follow, subscribe, share, help us grow, help us blow up. And for Mandy Maisie, for Brian Ray, I think that's good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, good night. Good night. Good night. Exit. Good night.